beautiful day you picked too. It's really lovely today. English literature major at the University of Texas, and then I went to law school in Austin, University of Texas. That's interesting. You have a modern kind of piece with library.
People from all major, from all colleges together.
This big. We'll show you some more as we go around. We'll walk up to the sports area. Yeah, most of them. Yeah, they're fascinating. It really is. We'll show you through. I think we'll walk. Others have an apartment here in Cairo, and she's working. And people say, "Well, wait, what do your parents think about that?" I said, "You know, I was at AUC, staying on student housing. I was a good girl." 10 tennis courts, and then there's another practice.
American sports here?
Actually, there are people playing American football here.
And baseball?
I haven't seen any baseball, but they actually guys with. I guess we'll go out here. Let's go here.
Faculty. They challenge the faculty to make the presentation in 2 minutes.
Good afternoon. It's my pleasure to welcome our distinguished guest today, His Royal Highness Prince Turki Al Faisal, and for him to honor us by presenting awards to the winners in the various categories. It was inspiring for me today to see the impressive work of the students and faculty in today's event. I stopped and saw many of your exhibitions, your posters, and spoke with you. And it's just fascinating research, both in the social sciences area, but also in the engineering area. I learned about concrete that's cracking and that you can put a bacteria in there and repair it. Being an old construction guy, that resonated with me. It's a really interesting work going on, and thank all of you for doing that. What we're doing is we are showcasing the research that is being done here on AUC's campus. And this is a great opportunity. It leads us into the centennial that we will be celebrating in 2019 and demonstrates what's happening here, but also our potential for future research as a driver for economic development here in Egypt and also in the region. As we go from today's events, I ask that each of you continue to be engaged, to actively participate in intellectual exchanges. These kinds of things, these kind of interchanges, these interdisciplinary activities, they are really the future of research in Egypt. And it's people like you that will make this happen. And so I want to, on behalf of all of us, the faculty, the staff, all the friends and donors of AUC, I'd like to thank you for your work today and your work as you continue in your research. I'm honored to ask His Royal Highness, Prince Turki Al Faisal, to join me here, and we'll present the awards.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank His Excellency Minister Nabil Fahmy for this invitation. The former president of AUC, Dr. Lisa Anderson, was gracious in issuing the invitation when she was here. And I also thank the interim president, Mr. Tom Thomason, for receiving me today. I have a connection with this august institution. It houses the Kamal Center the Kamal Adham Center for Television and Digital Journalism, which was gifted by my late maternal uncle Kamal Adham. I've been asked to speak today on the Middle East and its future directions, a topic that is broad and complex in light of dramatic events taking place in this conflict-cursed region. I will limit my talk to issues causing disorder and looming anarchy and on my hopes for a peaceful, secure, and stable region. Talking about the future of a conflict-ridden region undergoing a major structural transformation resembles a crystal ball, using a crystal ball for predicting one's future. Egypt's role in this ambition is central, and now that the constitutional structure is established, the contribution of the Egyptian people's talents is a must. Egypt and Saudi Arabia have embarked on cooperative ventures in military and economic affairs. There are nearly 2 million Egyptians that live in the kingdom and contribute to its development. There are more than 500,000 Saudis that live in Egypt because of family ties. This relationship should be the model for inter-Arab relationships. Looking into today's prevailing conditions and state of affairs in the Middle East, particularly the Arab region, we find little credible signs that call for much optimism. Strategically, it is vulnerable on all fronts and is widely exposed to all possibilities. This strategic vulnerability is as old as the establishment of the nation-state order following World War I. However, catastrophic events during the past decades, such as the recurring Arab-Israeli wars and conflicts, the Lebanese Civil War, the Iran-Iraq War, prolonged, the invasion of Kuwait, the invasion of Iraq, and constant foreign interventions have contributed greatly to this vulnerability. Coupled with this is the failure of many of our states in facing the shared and constantly looming threats to our existence and to our people. Poor social, economic, educational, and cultural policies and selfishness that characterize some Arab leaders' foreign and domestic policies for decades are causes of the mess. All of what we are witnessing nowadays unfolding as results of the so-called Arab Spring is but an indictment of these policies and natural results of it. These policies are the cause of what happened and is happening in Iraq, leading it to become a failed state with a collapsing society. The cause of Syria's free falling into a swamp of blood, destruction, desolation, terrorism, conspiracies, and foreign interventions. The cause of the sinking of Yemen into an inferno of conflict and civil war. The cause for the failure of the Libyan state and the unrest in other countries. The cause of the spread of the transnational phenomenon of terrorism within many of our states. The cause of the spread of armed militias that are not under the control of national states, and the spread of the appalling sectarianism and other negative phenomena. All that is a condensed representation of our deplorable state of affairs. Our unenviable present was the future of our recent past, and the way we deal with our present is the future awaiting us. It is imperative that we must consciously learn from the pitfalls of the past. We must plan our future wisely and be alert at all times if we want to avoid a catastrophic future. We must courageously face the challenges that threaten our existence and attain a visionary approach to the future if we wish to attain a decent place on the world stage. We're facing immense challenges. Some of them are in our hands to solve, but others, unfortunately, need the hands of others. First, the preservation of the nation state in the Arab world is of vital importance to the security and stability of its social components. Realization of such a goal cannot be achieved without avoiding many of the policies which guided many aspects of development, and without creating a normal relationship between the state and its citizens, whereby the state becomes the guardian of all of its citizens, with all shades and colors, attending to their ambitions and aspirations, and being the point of reference to their national identity. Moreover, governments must respond energetically to reform needs and constantly strive to lead society toward better conditions. We must strive to rescue Arab states, which are on the brink of collapse and disintegration, and help their societies to overcome this perilous stage by helping them to create a new social contract that will save them from present miseries, restore their hopes, and fulfill their ambitions and expectations. Second, the weakness, fragility, and fragmentation of the Arab regional system, which affects all of its political, economic, social, and cultural institutions, must be cured. This system lacks the necessary vitality to provide the minimum requirements to defend the Arab countries, let alone qualifying them to attain a respectable place within the framework of international order and the context of their people's aspirations. Despite the establishment of the Arab League, which oversaw the transition from colonialism to independence, and enacted agreements and treaties to secure the interests of all its members, the blind ambition to gain the sole leadership by the rising nationalist socialists led to its decay and a paralyzed and empty skeleton devoid of any potential or vitality. If we aspire to attain dynamic participation in the global order, we must avoid repeating past ideological obstacles and petty attitudes and trivial competition about who is small and who is grand, who has deep and illustrious historical roots, and who is of recent appearance on stage. Squabbles that characterize attempts at cooperation throughout the past 6 decades. The failure of this system led to large-scale strategic deterioration within the Arab region, allowing the existence of a strategic vacuum that tempted the Iranian leadership and other powers to tamper with our countries and our social fabric. It is imperative upon us to repair the damage inflicted upon Arab communal efforts and be prepared for all possibilities, taking into consideration the threat of the disruptive interference of the Iranian leadership in the internal affairs of our states, spreading their sectarian ideology and attempting to export their crises to us while actively supporting sectarian terrorism, in addition to their relentless quest for nuclear armament. The Iranian leadership's belligerent attitude toward their neighbors is evident in their outright occupation of the islands of the United Arab Emirates. The danger posed by Iran is real and should not be underestimated, especially when we realize that all attempts to reform Iranian policies went in vain. Despite the fact that we do not harbor any ill feelings towards Iran and its people as neighbors and brothers in faith, we must ensure our regional security requirements and collectively strive as an Arab and Gulf Arab group to face these imminent and present dangers. We must rectify the power imbalance vis-à-vis Iran. Any disequilibrium will no doubt allow the Iranian leadership to exploit all gaps to infiltrate our countries. Fortunately, in this regard, I believe that the GCC, with its Arab allies and foremost Egypt, is a pioneering and successful event in the Arab world. We must maintain the GCC and develop it so that it can lead to economic integration through intensifying cooperation in all spheres and surmount all obstacles on the path of its goals. We must achieve a real Gulf Peninsula Union by adding Yemen to its membership after it attains stability. Its importance stems from its strategic depth as well as vital demographic and historical dimensions that can contribute to the security of the Arabian Peninsula. In addition, and due to its geostrategic importance of immense energy reserves and its geographical location that connects all continents, as well as its being the center of Islam and Arab culture, a united front of GCC countries can play a major role in protecting its interests and contributing to lifting the Arab world out of its mess. Success of the GCC in shaping this strategic entity is in the interest of the region and all of the Arab world, and allows it to play an instrumental role on a global scale, a tool to pave the way for a better future in the Arab world. Third, fragility, stagnation, and internal weakness of many Arab states at all political, governmental, economic, social, and cultural levels call for drastic remedial measures to cross over to the future whereby they can effectively respond to the needs and aspirations of Arab societies and absorb all of their diverse social components, thus preventing the rise and spread of extremism and terrorism and guarding the integrity and stability of these states. These reforms will facilitate a positive interaction with globalization and with the fourth industrial revolution and benefit from its dynamism. Fears, whether imagined or real, must not become an obstacle in the way of our attempt to safeguard our identity, faith, and values, or prevent us from responding positively to modernity. Our identity, values, and faith are deeper than what the naysayers claim. I am optimistic that many countries have woken up to the inevitability and indispensability of reform and have moved in the right direction. This trend must not stop for any reason whatsoever. Fourth, terrorism remains a serious threat and a strategic challenge facing the Arab states, especially when it is camouflaged in religious forms that taint the purity of our faith and attempt to hijack it. Without serious confrontation with terrorism at all levels and eradicating its causes, our countries will never enjoy stability. This terrorism is not only the terrorism of Daesh, or Fahish, as I choose to call it, or Al-Qaeda, but also terrorism perpetrated by all powers and extremist sectarian militias in Iraq, Syria, Yemen, Lebanon, and other places. This cross-border terrorism poses an existential threat to the nation state in our region. It requires that all should cooperate to defeat it and create the right climate to treat its root causes. Fifth, the Arab-Israeli conflict remains a real challenge to the Arab future. It has been and still remains the cause of hampering many of the Arab projects during the past 60 years and other international initiatives about the future of the region. Without a just solution that takes into consideration Palestinian legitimate demands, this area will never experience stability and will remain exposed to all negative possibilities because it involves all parts of the Arab world. The solution to this problem is not in our hands only, but is an international responsibility. Ignoring the solution on the part of the United States and other capable powers will only hamper all of their initiatives in the Arab region. In this regard, we must not forget the fate of regional initiatives presented during the 90s of the past century and which were doomed due to the faltering of the peace process. We are all aware that the Arab countries welcomed the march toward peace which commenced in Madrid with the hope of solving this conflict within the parameters of international norms and the UN decisions, and that they entered into negotiations with Israel to reach the desired peace. The Arab states did not stop at that, but participated in all efforts and the multilateral negotiations with the hope of creating the right climate and mutual trust. Some even went far in their relationship with Israel to encourage her to seek the road to peace. The Arab Peace Initiative of the late King Abdullah of Saudi Arabia remains as the only viable solution to this seemingly intractable conflict. I'm not here to illustrate all the attempts to settle this conflict. All of you are privy to their details. What I wish to emphasize, which is relevant to the subject of this talk, is the following. Just peace has not been achieved. All efforts pertaining to the future of this region and the negotiations about engineering a new future for it have gone in vain. The perpetuation of this conflict will continue to be a cause of threat to the security and stability of the region, even if Israel and its allies claim that the cause of the region's instability is what is happening at the present and has no direct relations to this prolonged conflict. They ignore that the banner headline that the terrorists use to recruit their followers is the suffering of the Palestinian people. The Iranian leadership have named their main interventionist arm the Quds Brigade. Sixth is the relationship of Arab governments with their citizens. If any Arab citizen of any Arab state does not have a proprietary relationship with his or her government, is it a wonder that that citizen feels marginalized and attracted to nihilist convictions or sectarian identity? Citizenship of all the people in a just and fair society is the only guarantee against these impulses. Education, rule of law, and owning one's well-being will bring about the stability and harmony of Arab societies. Ladies and gentlemen, these challenges are but a few among many other strategic ones that are closely connected to the path of our future. Without treating them, our future will resemble our present, if not worse. Despite all of that, we must cling to optimism. Saudi Arabia and its Gulf brothers are still steadfast in the face of these challenges, striving to find the right solutions and move forward. Under its wise leadership, Saudi Arabia managed for many long decades to preserve its stability and national security. Despite the internal and external challenges, crises, and serious threats that it faced, it continued to be committed to its policies of development in all fields, and by the grace of God will succeed in the face of present threats and future uncertainties. It will continue to grow and develop and fulfill the aspirations and goals of its people. The surest path for maintaining our security and stability is through our commitment to maintaining the unity of our social fabric. A constant synergy between the citizens and the leadership, the continuous positive response to their hopes, dreams, and aspirations, and the keen attention to the implementation of social justice, equality, and freedom. The state must persevere in remedying any defects in our economic, social, educational, cultural, and security policies, and enhance our national identity and values. All citizens are the trustees of our country and our state. With determination and an unwavering commitment, Saudi Arabia, in cooperation with our brothers in the GCC, Egypt, Arab and Islamic countries, we will be able to face the challenges and perils that affect us all. Our leadership is addressing the economic challenges arising from dependency on one source of income into diverse and vibrant sources. Saudi Arabia is a work in progress. We must move forward, commit mistakes, and rectify them. They are our mistakes, and the means of rectifying them are our means. We accept advice from our friends, but the clothes we wear are sewn by our tailors, not by the most talented fashion designers in Paris, New York, or London, and definitely not by the tailors in the bazaar of Tehran. We in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia are attentive to the sense of responsibility and noble intentions, and as emphasized by the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz, on all occasions, we will cooperate and collaborate with all who mean well in order to deal with all the challenges facing the Arab and Islamic world. The aim is to bring security, stability, and peace to our countries and our people, to attend to our future. Thank you for listening to me, ladies.
Hello, everyone. I know that you're waiting for this moment since the start of the day. I'm really pleased by the results of the first AUC Research Day. Now, I would like to call for the winners of today's competition. We had two competitions, the faculty pitch competition and the student poster competition. So I'll ask the President and His Royal Highness and Dr. Sharif Siddiqui to come to the table so we can award our faculty and students. I'll start by the results of the pitch competition. The Academy of Liberal Arts, the winner is Dr. Ghada El-Shimi for her talk on transformational learning identity insights. Dr. Ghada, yes, would you please come to the stage? Graduate School of Education. The winner, Graduate School of Education. The winner is Dr. Heba El-Daghedi for her talk on education for sustainability in Egypt, participants' perspectives. Libraries and learning technologies. The winner is Mark. I know that you're going to forgive me if I pronounce your last name wrong. Mark Mulhausler. Mark is not here, so we'll go to the next school. the School of Global Affairs and Public Policy. The winner is Dr. Hamid Ali for his talk on defense spending and ethnic inequality. School of Sciences and Engineering, the winner is Dr. Hani Swaylan for his talk on desalinated water for food production in the Arab region. I know that Dr. Hassan Azazi will forgive us for bringing a competition for him. Research Center, I'll wait. Okay. The research centers, the winner is Dr. Hania Shulkami for her talk on conditional cash transfers for Egypt, how an idea becomes a national program. Dr. Hania is not with us. Last but not least, the School of Business, the winner is Dr. Alia Basyouni for her talk on corporate finance policy in Egypt, evidence from the field. Now for the second competition, that's for the students' poster competition. We'll start with the Academy of Liberal Arts. The winner for the undergraduate category is Omar Gaballa. The Academy of Liberal Arts does not have a graduate program, so there is no winner for the graduate. Graduate School of Education. Graduate School of Education, we have a tie between Mariam Makramallah and Nashwa Muhyiddin. Please come to the stage. So we have two winners. Libraries and Learning Technologies, Lauren Clark. I'm excited too. The Office of Dean of Graduate Studies, we have a tie between Hiba, Ala, Karamani, and Sumaya El Badri. Brooke. School of Business, for the undergraduate category, we have Karim Fanous and Randa Amir. Randa Amir. Karim Fanous, Randa Amir. Right? Yeah? Yeah? Okay, good. Okay, for the graduate category, we have Maram Khattab. School of Global Affairs and Public Policy is next. For the School of Global Affairs and Public Policy, we have Enji Higazi for the undergraduate category. And for the graduate category, we have Manar Muhammad Hafiz. School of Humanities and Social Sciences, the winner for the undergraduate category is Hadir Al-Ashhab. School of Sciences and Engineering, for the undergraduate category, we have Yasser Khaldi and Mark Sidrak. And for the graduate category, we have Hiba Shower. Thank you all. I'm going to ask President Thompson and His Royal Highness back to go back to their seats, and I'll ask the provost to come to the podium. He will give the closing remarks for the day. Thank you very much.
So good evening. In closure, I would like to congratulate our students and our faculty on all the valuable intellectual contributions that we have seen today. Actually, I'm very proud of what I have seen, and I'm very proud also of all the feedback that I have received from the jury. It makes everyone feel good and proud about what's going on here. And I hope that you have a fruitful interaction and an opportunity to expand the scope of your work, and you can get more new opportunities for more collaboration and more interactions in the future. And this will be one step towards more success and more recognition, inshallah. Wishing you all the best, and looking forward for more and more success. Thank you.
First of all, I want to thank the responsibles of AUC for inviting me today to come and speak. And I've been more than pleasantly received and surprised and wondered about the architecture, the landscaping, and the dynamic activity of the students here. This has been a very, very impressive experience for me. And of course, being with young people is always invigorating and inspiring. As far as science and technology is concerned, this is what rules the world today. And I'm of a generation way beyond these means of communication and engagement. So frankly, I have to depend on my grandchildren to guide me and make sure that I don't commit mistakes on the way. But the value of the research that is done in places like AUC is seen in the application of these scientific miracles that are happening around us. I think we in general have to engage with each other. AUC has to connect with other universities, and not just in Egypt, but throughout the Arab world. And now I think there are means and ways of doing that. Whether through the internet and the World Wide Web, or through the scholarships that are shared for students. I know that in Saudi Arabia, for example, there are many universities that aspire to have scientific research and so on. And they, I'm sure, are in connection with places like AUC or Ain Shams or Qahira or Syut or any of the centers of learning that you have in Egypt. That's the only way that you can reach the level of commonality in research and scientific discovery that we all seek.